Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Blackspinner Circle Music Vidcast. I'm Al Horta. My co-host Andy Rodriguez. What's up, brother?
Hey Al, nothing much. Just hanging out and excited about our special guest today. His second time here at Blackspinner.
Yeah, his second time coming back. My man Jaron Gulino. How are you, brother?
What's happening, guys? Thanks for having me. It's feeling like second home over here.
Thanks a lot, man. Well, you're always welcome. You don't
Oh
even
yeah.
have to knock on the door. Just walk
Whenever
on
he's
in.
not busy. I mean, we had this little window where he's not like the hardest working bassist right now.
Right.
I'm not the laziest one for the next hour.
But yeah, man. Thanks for coming back. It's just your second time on here. We were supposed to have Anthony Quarter from Tora Tora on. Well, we had a scheduling conflict last week. We were supposed to do a show last week
Yeah.
with both Jaron and Anthony Quarter from Tora Tora. Something happened with Andy, a little scheduling thing. He couldn't get out of it. So, unfortunately, Anthony couldn't be with us tonight. He says he'll be on in the future. But Jaron, always the true friend of mine. He's like, anytime, brother, whenever I can do it, I'll be on. So thanks
Very
for
cool.
coming back on, Jaron.
Of
Appreciate it.
course, of course.
So I wanted to talk about your recent run of shows. It's been a month ago already that you had with George Lynch. I think you did 4 shows in Florida, or was it
Yep.
3? 4?
hmm
Yeah, and I know the first show I went to was in Sarasota, which is the show I went to, and I think you played what was the other dates?
We did
Um,
Boca, we did Fort Myers, and we did Mount Dora.
that's it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Most of them are pretty far from me, so
Yeah, they're all
but
over the map.
I would have went more than one. But the Sarasota is actually like 20 minutes from my office, so that day I just bought my clothes to change in and whatever, and went straight there and had a good time. You guys bought it as usual. Um, I always love George. I love you, man. I love your stage presence. You're always very entertaining.
Thanks.
Talk to us about that run of shows with us. How they go, man?
It's good, So we're doing this thing. We might have talked about this the last time I was on, but the Rise of the Decades tour, where it features a younger band. Originally it was AON, All or Nothing.
Yes.
And then XYZ plays, and then George comes out and plays, and we do all doc and stuff. And I sit in with XYZ and George. So this time around, we've had some different opening bands, which is cool. And the George set is usually a little bit of everybody coming up to not only jam out, but it's more of a singer thing. So we have the backing band, and we have Sam Bean on rhythm guitar, joining us, and Skylar still plays drums for that. But we have different singers come up. So Anthony came up last
Yeah,
time.
he was great too, man.
With us, and he
Yeah.
did a great job. And we had Tyler for Midnight Vice, and a couple of new faces, which was nice. So
As well as Terry Ilios from XY.
yeah, Terry always sits in. He's always a
Yeah.
staple, and usually Brett from Great White comes out. He was out with Great White that week, so he did join us on the last show. But it's always fun because you never know, who's going to show up or join us for some songs, and it's all doc and stuff. So I get to do a lot of material that we don't do with Lynch Mob, which is always a nice treat. So between that week and the week before, we had just kind of relaunched Lynch Mob and gone back out for our first round of shows since the final ride's been over. So those 2 weeks were kind of crazy, like
Sure.
re-rehearsing all the material to go out with George and our band, and then to go and do the doc and stuff only is like touching up on that. It was just kind of like a pretty crazy couple of weeks there. So, coming off that, it was a definite high.
Yeah, so that's cool, man. So I guess George had a change of mind about Lynch Mob. He kind of wanted to keep going with it, which is it's fine by me, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I love you guys. So
it's hard to stay away. I think when you think about it, 2 years from now, I'll be done. I'm tired or whatever. But then, you get there, and sometimes it's not what you thought it was going to be, and you still have that desire to play. And so I would love to say he isn't really going to tour anymore because, touring these days is a loose term because a lot of people, get on a bus and do it the old-fashioned way or in a van, RV, whatever. And then nowadays a tour is every other weekend flying out to different places. So I can't really say he's not going to tour anymore, but we are doing select dates and going to still keep playing. So I'm happy, man. I still get to go on stage and have a blast and play all that music that I love, with a really badass band. We've got Andrew Freeman singing right now and Brian Tishy on drums for the new Lynch Mob
Cool.
or latest Lynch Mob lineup. But then you switch gears and you go do the Rise of the Decade stuff, and you're out there playing the same style kind of stuff, but with other fresh faces, and that's always cool too. So it's a good world to be in right now.
Yeah, from that night I procured the set list, which you were nice enough to sign. Terry signed it. You signed it. And Anthony signed it, and also the guitar player's name again is Sam. Yeah, he's a great guitar player, man.
Yeah, he's really good, man.
Yeah. So yeah, they all signed it, which was cool. Now, I mean, look at this set list, man. I mean, any Dokken fan is just with
salivating on that. Yeah.
I have the one that you guys did in March. So that was like when you were still, the Lynch Mob was still going, but this is when George was doing it one-off shows in between.
Yeah. There's a couple different tunes on there.
So I got that one too. I'm such a setlist whore.
Yeah, he is.
I used to be too.
You should see my collection of set lists, man.
I believe it. I've got quite a few from when I was younger, man. I used to love that. I live for it.
It's just cool to get it. When you get it, you just feel like you accomplished after a great show, and like you get the set list. It's just something cool to bring home, man. So or a guitar pick or whatever. It's always kind of cool, fun, try to get that stuff. So
oh yeah.
So yeah. So after the show, we talked a little bit. You were gracious enough actually to meet up with me again after the show and hang out a bit. And we were talking and stuff. And tell us what happened with Tantric. Like you told me a little news about if you could talk about it.
Yeah. So I played in Tantric for 6 years, 2017 to into 23 a little bit. And then when, George got busy, I kind of had to give that up to do Lynch Mob, which, happy to do that and move on. But, the Tantric, has always been a home for me in a way. I'm still very close with many different members from over the years. And, Hugo's always, a great friend to me because, he gave me opportunities in this industry that have led me to where I am. And I'm always going to be grateful and respectful of that. Right around that time when I saw you, his current lineup of the band kind of just all quit on the same day on him and left him hanging. It is what it is. And so, long story short, I kind of got called to, maybe help find some guys to do it and to help fill in for a few shows until he could get back on his feet with a new lineup. I just said, I'm around, and if I'm home and I'm going to do it and help out, like I might as well call some familiar faces and see if anybody else wants to come have some fun for a couple shows. And I ended up calling Sebastian Labar, who had been in the band with me for many years. And, he plays with Saliva now. And then Troy Patrick Farrell on drums. He was in Tantric with us when I first joined and when Sebastian first joined. And so it was cool. The 3 or 4 of us, hadn't been together in that lineup since 2018. So getting to go back and revisit, the kind of that memory lane type feeling was really cool. And the band played great. We did 2 shows.
All you guys did the Mercury Retrograde album together, right?
We did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, we did one from that, and just kind of cruised through a set list that we all kind of knew. And it was fun, man. We had fun. I mean, we went up to North Dakota to play, so it's just like you're in a remote land that you don't get to go to a lot to play. So that was cool to kind of go back out there and then to be out with some old friends. It was a lot of fun. So
yeah, it's cool.
We got it done, and moving forward, Hugo's going to have to find a new band at some point, and I'm still in the works of putting that together for him and helping. I just feel the need to help. It's a brother of mine that I want to lend a hand to if I can. So we're working on that. And in the meantime, I am going to go out and do a few more shows with them. I'm actually going out the next 2 weeks. We're doing upstate New York this week. And then New Hampshire and Rhode Island the following week, and then I may go out one more week in October. But we're pretty much there with the new lineup and some new guys. Finding the bass player is going to be the next piece of the puzzle for me. A lot of people want the gig. A lot of audition videos have been sent in, a lot of great drummers, this and that, and so we're just kind of sorting through and finding the right pieces to the puzzle, or at least trying to get close to it. But I'm enjoying it, man. It's different. Going back to it now after being away from it from all these years is it's a weird feeling, but it's cool. It's nice to play a little something different and just get back in that headspace. But at the end of the day, it's just about helping out friends and getting the job done and not leaving anybody hanging.
To me, that's a testament of how what a great guy you are, man. Just like loyal. You show your loyalty, and it's rare in the music business these days, man. That's really cool of you to help them out.
It's also for the fans. A lot of fans, what people don't realize is, for some people that drive 20 minutes from the office to go to a show, some people drive 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've done it.
yeah. When you have fans like that and you have dates that are sold and tickets that are sold and you just don't show up and you just don't have a good reason or anything, no matter how good the reason is, you're leaving people hanging that have inconvenienced themselves to come and support or to have an experience with music.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing for me is that's wrong. If you can't do a gig or you don't want to do a gig, get somebody else to do it for you, or you do it until you're playing a band. You agree to do the concert, and then figure it out.
Commit. You're committed to it, man.
Yeah.
Fulfill the commitment.
So for me, that's kind of where when I get called in that situation, like, hey man, I'm screwed. I don't want to let anybody down. Like, yeah, man, let's go out and do this. Let's do it right. Let's do it for the fans. And for me, that's what it's all about. And so I try to remember that my whole career. The fans are what make you, and the people that support you. So the last thing you want to do is let them down.
Hey, Jaron, let me ask you a question. Is that kind of common around the circle of musicians helping each other out? Because you always hear about bands just mudslinging. We don't get to hear about the brotherhood that goes on in the background of everything. Is this more common? Musicians helping each other out, going here, going there. Is that common?
I'm not quite sure how to answer, because I would say no, it's not. I mean, usually it's about how much am I getting paid? How, what are you doing for me? I see that more than anything.
Right.
But there are good guys out there that want to help. It's just, for me, I like to work. So, if I have only 24 hours to learn a whole bunch of songs to go do a gig, I'm probably more inclined than most people to do that because I want to. I think a lot of people see a workload and a dollar sign and say, it's not worth my next week working on a week for that amount of money. For me, it's not about that. So, to answer your question, I would say it's probably more common that people don't, want to be helping out, or going that extra mile for somebody out of the sake of the kindness of their own heart. But, I do see it out there. It's not a rare thing, but I think it's probably not as common as the other way around.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of like, I got bass, we'll travel, pretty much.
Yeah, man. Well, I gotta like it a little bit. I gotta be proud of what I'm doing. Like, some cover band call me and just, hey, come play some songs. I'd probably say no. That doesn't do anything for me. But I believe in doing the right thing, and I play with bands that I believe in, and so I'm always going to have that allegiance to that. And if I can be a part of that legacy and help out in a way, I'm grateful to return the favor for all the years of excellence that I had with those bands.
Right.
That's awesome, man. So let's go back to Lynch Mob. So now that's relaunched. So you guys been working on new music, or?
It's a weird situation. So we actually did a record last year that was finished at the top of this year during the final ride. And so that has Jimmy and Gabriel on it. And that is coming out on Black Friday. I believe the launch of the campaign is October 10th. So it's coming up here pretty soon. So we'll have an all new Lynch Mob record with those guys on it. And we also have a live record and DVD that's coming that's also finished with those same guys on it. So while, yes, we are out as Lynch Mob now with different guys, there is still lynch mob stuff coming out from the last group, and I don't know what will come in the future of guys in and out or whatever. George has been pretty clear. He wants to keep playing, but it's probably going to be a revolving door.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then you never know who will pop in and out. But we're doing what we can with who we have right now, and the band is still going to go out and play. We're still booking dates, and actually booking a lot of dates right now. And we're going to do more Rise of the Decade stuff in January. We got, I think, like 2 weeks of dates down there. So, it's crazy. I thought I would spend most of this year off looking for a gig or trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And it actually just kind of got busier in a way because, we took on more responsibilities in the off time, and then business is back to normal. So now it's like we're just juggling a whole lot of stuff. And it's a good time, man, for sure. I'm enjoying life more than ever, in all these different camps, band wise, and, personally as well. But, I'm very grateful that George wants to keep going. And, I'm looking for another gig mentally, but I'm like, I don't want any other gig. I want this one. So I'm happy I get to keep it.
Right.
Oh, yeah, because George could keep going as far as I'm concerned, man.
Yeah, because the last time we talked to you, you were like on a little 1 week vacation, like your first vacation, like 20 years. But you wanted to go out there, and now all this is happening for you again. So you kind of answered your own prayers, because this is what you wanted, was just to stay busy, keep on playing. Is that right?
Yeah. It was weird. I had like April and May were real slow. Like, yes, I did a couple shows with XYZ during that time, and even June, I don't think we played at all. But I was busy with George doing other stuff. He was out playing with Doc, and I'm helping him with some managerial stuff and some other things. And so, we were still in touch and doing business outside of playing. And so I was nervous because, it's cool to have a little bit of work going on, doing whatever, but the real love is playing on stage, right? So for me, it was like, I don't care if I have making millions of dollars sitting at home on the computer, I'm still missing the whole thing of why I'm doing this to begin with, and that's getting out on stage. And so I was very nervous and, in a way, lonely and kind of like getting sad about it. But a way that I found to kind of pacify that was getting back to working on my own music, which I've done for my whole life, but in the last almost decade, I haven't really, because I've been on tour all the time. My tantric years were 12 months out on the road, and I wasn't putting energy into any of my other bands that I used to be in or things I used to write or, whatever it might be. So I wasn't on stage for a lot of this year or the early part of it, but I did put my iron in many fires. I've got like 4 albums that I'm working on right now through different projects, and now the dates are coming back. So yeah, I kind of did answer my own prayers in a way. I was hoping to get back out with a band and play, and it just turns out it's going to be George again. So, that's not to say the other stuff that I'm involved with won't go out at some point either, but the timing is just kind of, it kind of went up and then down, and now it's just kind of coming back up, which is where I like to be. So
great. Also, you always hear people say, "Oh, I'm not talking about you, but like older musicians, people are saying, well, y'all are old. Why don't y'all just call it quits?" But it's so hard to change. I mean, that's their life. That's their job.
Yeah, especially if you love doing it.
Buddy, why don't you just retire? But, there's something missing. That's these people's lives. You can't just stop and just move on to something else.
Yeah, it's not just a job. I think when you're a musician and people say you make plenty of money, you don't need to work anymore. Well, that's where you got it wrong, because it's not really work. I mean, yeah, it is, but it's a love first, and at least it is for me and most people that I know or play with. But like, people say, this singer can't sing anymore, or you should give it up. But it's like, if that's what you love to do and you love the grind of it and getting out with the boys and the whole thing, it's like, if people are still paying, it's up to them to stop. There's so many variables of why you should or shouldn't stop. So I think it just comes down to the love.
That's right. That's actually what you just kind of went into. Yeah, I see always online everything like how, this band should hang it up and whatever. It's like, I've played guitar since I was 15 years old. I've been in bands too. I never made it, but I still loved playing at bars, things like that. And actually, like, I started a family and I kind of gave that up, but now like doing like I love talking about music. This is like friends getting together. To me, this is like the modern day friends getting together at a house and just throwing a CD or a record on a stereo and just sit around, listen to something, talk about music. This is kind of the modern way now, like of doing it over the computer. But going back to the whole, musician working, hanging it up and all that, when I see online people like saying that, and you know what, I've been guilty of saying that myself like years ago, but I kind of gave up saying anything like that anymore, because when you grow up and you're a musician all your life, it's in your blood, who is somebody else to tell you to stop doing what you love to do? I wouldn't want anybody to tell me to stop. If I want to continue on, it's you don't have to go to the show. You don't have to pay for the ticket. You know what I mean? If bands want to continue on, that's their prerogative, man. I applaud them. I don't have to go to the show if I feel like they kind of don't have it anymore, and I'm not going to tell them to hang up. That's their life, man. I just will choose to vote my wallet. That's my philosophy. I wish more people like shared that, but we're in a world of internet where everybody just likes to slag everybody, and
but think about it this way. I'm sure when you were younger, you heard about people's grandpas or maybe even your own grandparents or relatives. When they get older, it's like, don't tell me what to do. I've been on this earth longer than you, or like, don't can't take my license away. It's like these guys are turning 80 something. Imagine what they're probably saying the same thing. Can't tell me to stop. I can still do this.
Exactly.
So I just look at it that way. I'm like, these guys are just old and having fun. Like, who am I to say, you shouldn't do this or do that?
Yeah, that's their life.
I love it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's their decision to make, not ours.
Yep.
I mean, I know sometimes we're fickle as fans and things like that, but hey, listen, it's ultimately their decision, their life. If they're happy doing it, then I'm happy for them. You know what I'm saying? So.
And that's a lot of guys that can't really hack it anymore, And then you got guys like George. I mean, he's younger than the guys 20 years younger than him, physically, mentally, playing wise. So you got guys like that on the other end. It's like, of course he shouldn't hang it up. He's still in his prime. He's still shredding and playing great.
He's in great shape. I mean, that's.
Oh well, he worked out most. I remember when he was a lot bigger, but he toned that down. But I'm sure he still works out and stuff, right, Jaron? He takes
care of himself, man. I mean, the guy is primed and can still do it all, and so when I see Scorpions, all these latest things, people saying, "Oh, that these bands are shot," I'm like, the guys are old and they earned it. Let them do what they want. If you don't want to go, don't go.
Yeah. And and then when the bands go away, then it's like then you got the people. Oh, I wish they were still around.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
It's
Can't
never
them all, man.
You can never win, man.
No.
Now, speaking of like other projects, I remember you telling me after the Lynch show that you had something going on with your other band, Heaven's Edge. So what's going on with that?
Geez. All right. So Heaven's Edge, we are doing a new album right now. It's kind of a little behind where we wanted to be schedule-wise in terms of the tracking and beginning it, but we're just about there. We've been rehearsing like crazy. We have the songs, it's all ready to go. So that'll be, commencing here shortly, and will come out early next year. We're doing the Monsters of Rock cruise.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
In the spring. I think we're doing something in Brooklyn in June. And then I think we're going to Sweden in July for something. So I'm not quite sure how much I can really get into with all that. But I would say it'll be a relatively busy year for Heaven's Edge. And when I say that, I mean, we're used to doing 1 or 2 shows a year. So maybe we'll do 5 or 6 or, maybe more. I don't know. But that's pretty much it on that front. We're really waiting for next year before we do anything further in the public eye.
Are you on Are you have a label for that, or are you just putting
Frontiers again?
Frontiers, okay. That seems to be the premier label for a lot of the
everyone, man.
For the hard rock heavy metal scene that's coming out with new.
And I love it, man. It's great. I think that I'm glad that they put out this stuff for like I've been buying like the Blue Oyster Cult stuff from them. I'm glad they have them on the label. Lynch Mob, you got you guys and stuff. Heaven's Edge,
there's a couple good ones still out there. You know, the new Lynch Mob stuff's coming out on Rat Pack, which is another
Okay.
label.
That's
Great
another
stuff, and I love them too. So
yeah.
it is definitely slimmed down in the rock world in terms of the labels and who's kind of like got the monopoly on everybody. But I would say Frontiers, you know, it's like every day I see they signed another guy that everybody knows. You know, it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, but it's great that there's this record label out there that wants to put this new stuff out.
It's true. You know, there is a lot to it, but yeah, man. I mean, to have any kind of support is a great thing in this day and age of rock, I think.
They're an Italian label, right?
They are, yes.
Yeah, that's cool, man. You know, I remember. I mean, they've been around for a while now. I remember. I mean,
30-something years.
Wow. Yeah.
Or just shy, maybe.
That's
but
right,
yeah,
man.
I think they got stuff out in the 90s, and I'm big into European metal and rock, and so I've been hearing about them forever, and I know over there, you know, a lot of their acts do well that probably would never even come to the States, which is kind of crazy. So
yeah,
I've always liked that about them. You know, the European presence is still there, and they're keeping it alive for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you or whatever, but when I went to Portugal, I saw Iron Maiden over there. Did I get into this on the last show?
I don't think so. I can only imagine.
I think, yeah. So yeah, I took a trip with my wife and my daughter to go visit my parents in Portugal. So while we're there, my wife actually was like, let's see if there's any concerts playing here. Maybe we can go to a concert, because we were there for about 2 weeks. So she looked up, and sure, lo and behold, an hour. My parents live an hour from Lisbon, which is the capital of Portugal. So, and the arena there, Iron Maiden was playing. And man, when you said that, man, I went right on StubHub, and I bought like tickets for it. You know, so
is that next level, like way beyond American Iron Maiden?
Dude, let me tell you, some European crowds. I mean, all the hype that you hear about how European crowds are different, it's all true. I mean, I
see it. I believe it.
I mean, that arena was jumping, man. They were so into it, and it was just such a different vibe, man. And it was really cool. I mean, it was my first time seeing a concert in Europe, and I couldn't ask for anybody better than like Iron Maiden, because
that's one of the big ones there, man.
Yeah, they're so fanatical. And actually, the funny thing is that the show that they did in Lisbon was in an arena. So, and I think all the other shows were pretty much stadiums. So that was actually a more intimate show for them, like a smaller show, being in an arena. Because I remember Bruce Dick the night before, 2 nights before, they played Barcelona, and Bruce mentioned that, oh, we just played at a stadium in Barcelona, but it's nice to play in like a, you know, inside arena, smaller place. And I thought that was cool to kind of catch, you know, something like that over there. Because, you know, I mean, I'd rather see it shown in an arena than a stadium anyway. When it's just too big, it's just, you lose that kind of intimacy, you know. And Maiden, for me, like seeing Maiden in an arena is much better, you know, for me. And the European crowds are just crazy. Like I you know, and the arena was beautiful. Like it was just, you know, just well taken care of, and just going in there and just everybody just it felt like an old school vibe of going to a metal show. You know, everybody was just so camaraderie with everybody, and hey, that's a great shirt, and you know, things like that. You know,
and yeah, that's how we were back in the day, and now it's
like anymore.
Yeah, it's just so quiet. People are just so to themselves, or they're on their phone, and
yeah.
You know, sometimes I'm at a show going, am I the one acting crazy? Because I'm the only one moving. I'm the only one singing. Yeah. I don't understand this.
And let me tell you something. Their stage show on this tour is fucking incredible, man. It was just like some of the effects that they were doing, and you know, I'm not going to spoil it or anything because it's going to come over here to America. But I mean, just if you're a Maiden fan, or even, you know, kind of a casual fan, just go, because it's set list. I mean, they're playing from the first album to, I think, Fear of the Dark. So you got from 1980 to 92, that's prime.
Yeah.
Let's face it, that's prime Maiden right there, you know. And my daughter and my wife is not really a big like metal person. She's a bit more like 90s alternative, 80s rock kind of, you know. I think the heaviest she's seen lately with me is when Metallica came here to Tampa. But up until that point, that Maiden was probably the heaviest thing she saw. But she was very entertained by the the whole presentation. And
Oh yeah.
my daughter, it was my second time. My daughter went with me because when we still lived in New Jersey, it was like 3 years ago when we wanted to go see them in Newark, Iron Maiden. So I took her to that. So it was her second time, and we loved it. It was just great to see something in my parents' home country,
Oh yeah, I can't even imagine, man. I would love to do that someday.
Yeah. Have you ever played in Europe, Jaron, at all?
Yeah, we did. Well, Heaven's Edge did Hamburg a couple of years ago for a festival, which is a one-off. That was fine. But Tantric actually did a national European tour in 2019.
Yes.
That was, I don't want to say it was awful, but it was just like being in a beginning local band again, because Tantric never really had a big presence in Europe in the early days.
Yeah.
So going there for the first time 20 years later was like kind of an eye-opening experience. I mean, half the shows were pretty good, but the ones that weren't were definitely interesting. But we went to go to Europe. It was more the opportunity and the experience than it was thinking, oh, we're going to be killing it over there. Like, we went kind of knowing what it was going to be, but we did like half of it in UK and the other half in Europe. And the European side was definitely much better than the UK, but I did enjoy both sides of it. And then Lynch Mob did Australia and stuff. Now that that's Europe, but that's just another place to kind of show like rock is so much different and more well received, and even metal, in these other countries. And so that was for me always a dream. Growing up watching bands play at Wacken Festival or any of those footage you see on, whether it was MTV or Vice or or even just on YouTube. Like when I was a little kid, that was becoming the thing. Looking for, let's look at Overkill videos from '87. I can't even imagine this is on the internet. And now
rockin' Rio in the '80s. Rockin' Rio in the '80s.
Yeah. So that's always been the dream, is to get over there and do those big festivals, or even just go to one. And that's still on the list for me. We've done some stuff over there, but nothing to that major level where Hellfest and all those that people can just only dream about going to, with every single band you ever want to see on one bill.
I have a friend of mine, Angela from New Jersey, and she loves going to Europe with her fiance to like Vac. She actually went to back to the beginning, the Sabbath, thing. Which in hindsight, like, I was in Portugal when that was happening, and I almost toyed with the idea, like, let's just take a little plane over to Birmingham, and let's go see that. But we didn't. We only had a limited time in Portugal, and I have a lot of family there, and I want to cover a lot of ground. But I toyed with the idea. I was like, we're over here already. Yeah. It's just a hop and a skip, but it wasn't meant to be. But I did watch the live stream, which was great. And
yeah, me too.
Yeah, and then obviously like 2 weeks later, Ozzy was gone. Man, it sucks.
That's crazy. Yeah,
terrible.
And so, Jaron, we haven't spoken to you since Ozzy passed. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your love for Ozzy Osbourne and his music and how it affected your career?
I mean, where do I even begin? I think I'm like most guys that are metal and rock fans. Of course, I love all those bands. I mean, Sabbath's probably my all-time favorite band, and I like all eras of Sabbath. And I think guys like Tony Iommi or even Richie Blackmore from Deep Purple, like, those guys are kind of the gatekeepers of the greats, in my opinion. Though the greatest singers in metal and rock history went through those guys. And so
absolutely,
I not only follow the bands that they were in, but when everybody went solo, I follow that, because I mean, who's greater than the lineups of Ozzy? I mean, he had all the greatest guys play for him. I mean, even Dio, he always had a stacked band, and these guys always had a level of professionalism and greatness to everything that they did. And Ozzy was just only getting bigger as time went on, even to this current day. I mean, even when you listen to some of these later albums from Osmosis on, I mean, incredible music that not only met the times, in terms of the fad or the trends or what was good then, the modern sound of it, but like, it still sounded like Ozzy, even up to his latest album, Patient Number 9. It's like, I'm listening to it, I'm like, this could have been a Sabbath song, or this could have been this, and it's still modern and big. And so, I think not only me personally, but to lose somebody like that in our scene is just a monumental space that's just vacant and open and empty. And I remember going to Ozfest in Homedale, New Jersey at the Art Center when I was a kid. Those were some of my earliest concerts. And I mean, that guy brought all the greatest bands of all the genres and decades of rock. I mean, everybody went through Ozfest. It was always a party, whether you liked every band or not. You respected it because you knew it was good enough for Ozzy and they should be there. And half those bands, I mean, Lamb of God and Mastodon, they used to be like the 9 a.m. band at Ozfest. I mean, now
the
they're
small stage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
The first time I saw Mastodon, I saw them at an Ozfest, and it was like 11:30 or 12 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like crazy. And now 20 years later, I guess again, I'm like, oh, Mastodon, they're a new band. They'll never be as big as Slayer or Maiden. And it's like now 20 years later, I'm like, they are that band.
They're
now.
huge,
They are
yeah.
those bands playing those places. And so, for me, going back to Ozzy, sing as a kid all day, all these crazy bands, and then at the end, Ozzy comes out, and it's just like every band might have been great, but then he comes out, and it's way bigger
It's
than
a
anything.
whole
you can
different
imagine.
world.
It's an experience, and
Yeah, I went to two Ozfests, and then you're right. You're out there in the heat, and you're out there for hours just jamming out, and you think you've had enough, and then he comes out, and everybody's energy level just starts all over again.
Yeah, man, he set the bar for sure, and I honestly, I don't know what else to even say other than just thank you for the years of everything that guy's done, and it's just something I'm still every day. I think of it. I'm looking through my phone. What am I going to listen to today? And it's just like, it makes me sad to think I'm not going to get any more Ozzy. It's just like, yeah, there's a lot to listen to and a lot to go through, which is a great thing. I'm very grateful for that. There's a million Ozzy and Sabbath things, but you're still doing it and still putting out good stuff, and it's still entertaining, and now that's just empty. It's a weird, who's going to fill that? I don't think you can fill that. I think you just go for something different now,
It's just tough to think about a world without Ozzy in it, man. It's I mean, I grew up with him too, man. Like my first exposure was my older brother's Paranoid cassette,
I can't imagine.
and scaring the shit out of me, like, hearing Electric Funeral, and I'm like, what is this, man? As a kid, you're just like, you can't even like process something that heavy or think, how the hell is this? This is not like Foreigner. It's not,
it's so different. It's just so different.
Well, especially for you guys, because obviously I'm a little bit younger than you guys. So like when all that stuff came out or was still relevantly, within the timeline, pretty close. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of stuff out like that, that scary stuff. But for me, I was born in '88, so but by the time I was old enough to hear music, like there was ridiculous stuff out, heavy death metal, all this stuff. But to hear Ozzy then, and for it to still be relevant and have an impact with all this crazier stuff going on, I mean, that kind of just speaks volumes to the kind of character and personality he really was.
And it really is with every album. He just took the next step forward, and everybody else followed him.
Yeah.
When it came to
he was a leader,
like No Rest for the Wicked and No More Tears, and then like the Osmosis, he was still moving forward.
Yeah.
And he was taking these young bands along with him, and with the Ozfest really opened up a lot of doors for a lot of these bands. We were just talking about that, so it's going to be missed for a very, very long time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, when I went to Ozfest '98, I remember going to the small stage and hearing this band called System of a Down. I'm like, who the hell are these guys? And they were just so quirky and so different. Like my friend and I, we're both musicians, both guitar players, and we were just like taken aback by what Darren was doing, man. We're like, he goes from this real heaviness to this almost like kind of just real like quiet, kind of light, and then all of a sudden like just fucking just like a freight train, like into this heavy part again. I was like, the dynamics of that band was just unbelievable. We were like, man, who the hell are these guys? And it was only when they had like their first album, and I think Sugar had just kind of hit a little bit or something. They were just kind of. I remember after they played on the small stage, they went out in the crowd. They were like walking around. Nobody really knew who they were.
Right.
Now it's like they're playing fucking stadiums, man. Yeah. It's unbelievable, like how like far like they've come, man. And Motorhead actually headlined that stage, the small stage, which was which was awesome. I always loved seeing Motorhead. They were like one of my favorites. So I remember Lemmy. He's just such a character, man. He's another one I miss a lot too. That's another guy that I thought was immortal, that he would never be gone. And
for sure, he's definitely that level.
Yeah,
that level of icon. These guys that are Dimebag. The guys everyone kind of knows. If you like rock or metal, you know who these guys are. It's different.
Right? Yeah,
absolutely, man.
But an icon.
Did you ever see? Did you ever? Were you too young to see Pantera back in the day, or?
Yeah, I never saw him. I mean, I probably would have seen Damage Plan or the late years of Pantera, but I just didn't get into it in time. I just kind of was late to the party on that stuff.
Yeah.
I know when Maiden had their Brave New World tour, it was like 2001, maybe 2000. Like that was like my first, I'm going to a concert. I'm going to learn about the bands that I don't just have the CDs of, So
yeah.
At that point I was I just didn't get into it in time. I missed it, and I wish I had gotten a chance to see him. Although I would have liked to have seen Pantera in the '80s. That would have been for me.
Oh.
I love that stuff. So
I love that era, man.
I would have liked to have seen that for sure.
Yeah, I'm friends with Terry Glaze online, and he's a cool dude, man.
Projects in the Jungle is a fucking killer album, man.
Oh yeah, dude, I love that stuff.
That's where I stand with it.
And I didn't discover that until because I had a friend of mine that he worked. Well, he used to run a record shop in a flea market in New Jersey back in the '80s. But this was before I met him. But he started dating and then eventually married my best friend's sister. And he worked in record stores and things like that. And I used to come in record store, and I remember seeing these early Pantera, CDs, in the glass, in the counter. And I'm like, man, what the hell is this, man? And he told me, it was yeah, they had albums out in the '80s, man, before, Cowboys from Hell. They actually had, they were a little more, I don't want to say, they were a little more Van Halen, Def Leppard, kind of
more riffy in that '80s sense.
Yeah. And I know when Phil came in, the power metal was kind of almost, that's kind of the gateway. That's kind of the not the gateway, but the bridge kind of from that album into Cowboy. That's a great album too, actually. Yeah. Power metal. Yeah, but yeah, I discovered that the earlier stuff, and because they kind of, admittedly, they kind of buried that stuff when they hit with Cowboys from Hell. They didn't, with the way they looked and everything. But I don't really call it glam metal because Dimebag was just fucking ripping it up just the same.
I don't care. I'm not ashamed of that. Those are
it was like Judas Priest, in Maiden and Van Halen and stuff like that. So it wasn't anything cheesy. Lyric wise might have been a little bit, but it was the times, man. You know what I mean? So I love that stuff. I love going back to that era, Oh, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I got to see Pantera when they toured with when Black Sabbath reunited the four original guys, and it was them and Deftones. And Black Sabbath, Pantera, and Deftones. So I got to see that, and seeing the original Black Sabbath was always a dream of mine. And I was so happy when they reunited. I was like, I got to go see them, man. Yeah, I got to go. So me and a bunch of friends, we went to Meadowlands in New Jersey, the arena, and we caught that show. And Pantera, man, they slayed, man. That was before they even had Reinventing the Steel was out. It wasn't out yet. I think that came out in 2000. This was 99. So, but they were killing it, man. So I'm kind of glad I got to see that Pantera in that incarnation. I have seen them recently, with Zach and and Charlie, and they're doing great too. They sound great. I love Zach too, and Zach I think he's honoring his friend in a cool way. I think he's, nobody could ever be Dime, but he's doing his tribute to him.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's different. I think it's respect. I think he's doing it in a very respectable way. So
yeah.
Zach is Zach. He's gonna sound like Zach. You know what I mean? So it's different, but it's still. I think it's still great. That because there's a whole new generation that never got to see Pantera, and I think that's kind of cool that they're. Obviously when again going back to the whole internet shit when that was announced, you always had all these guys. Oh, it's not fucking Pantera without. the Abbott brothers and all that stuff. And it's like, then don't go.
Yeah,
It's
Just
just,
don't go. Exactly.
there's a whole new generation of kids that will take your place and go see that. They want to hear the music, man. So
Hear those songs again. I mean, those songs were so iconic.
yeah, exactly.
So great. I saw them. The first time I saw them was during an Ozfest. It was 2001, I believe.
That might have been that's toward the end of like Pantera, like the last
Dude,
probably year that they were.
they played like a 2.5 hour set. It was a long ass set.
Jeez.
'Cause
They probably did a lot of jamming in between because I know they love to do that.
Yeah.
They would just riff out on like, they would actually like almost write songs on stage. It was pretty funny, man.
And the thing is that it was that time of the day where it was like maybe late afternoon going into the evening. And it was just so perfect. When they started, it was still daytime. And then when they were towards the end, it was nighttime. It's getting violent down there. They're going, am I still in America? What is going on here? It was one of those things. It was great. It was just a great experience.
Hey, Jaron, man, we're going to wrap it up soon in a few minutes, but anything you've been listening to lately? Anything been catching your ear or just any classic stuff, whatever?
Dude, I'm so bad. I listen to all old stuff.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah,
this week I'm listening to friggin' Destruction and Creator. I'm a big thrash guy from when I was a kid, but but then last week I'm listening to Chinese Democracy, and just like I'm kind of all over the map with the stuff that I like, but I'm looking forward to hearing some new stuff come out. There's a lot of new younger bands that are coming out, and it's just like I try to get into them, but one of my favorite bands ever is called Evergrey, and they're from Sweden.
Oh, I know Evergrey.
And, they got a new one coming out, so I know when that comes, I'll be binging that like crazy. And I kind of go in this little like circle, man. I go everything from like old school James Brown and that R&B funk, but kind of the hard stuff. Like I was listening to friggin' Shaka Khan the other day, some deep cuts from her, and she's like got some hard ass songs. And I'm like, if somebody did a rock version of this, people would be like moshing and like just being like hyped on it.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff, man.
Yeah, so I'm all over, man. But I haven't really heard anything new. New Glenn Hughes came out last week, and that's solid. But
that guy is always working too, man.
One of the greatest. Yeah. It's insane.
It's just like it's just almost like every 6 months I hear of him putting like something new out with something. It's like, man, guy still sounds awesome too, man. He's one of those guys that I don't know, man. The amount of shit that he did, it's like,
how did he even survive?
How the hell's he even here, man? Yeah, dude. But his voice has stood up, man, and just sounds awesome, man. I haven't caught him since, man. I haven't seen him live in years. I caught the last time I saw him live. Oh no. I saw Black Country Communion when they did one of their few shows in New Jersey at Starland Ball.
Yeah, I was
Were you there?
Yeah.
Oh, you were there. Okay.
2010 or it was early, right?
And I think it's like 15 years ago. Yeah, it's like over that probably.
Yeah.
And then he had that short-lived band after that, which
California
is yes, I saw that at Starland as well.
So at Gramercy.
And I think that was the last time I've seen. So I haven't seen Glenn in quite a long time. I know I wanted to go so bad to see that Deep Purple thing that he was doing a few years back. I didn't get a chance to see that.
It's insane, man.
Yeah.
He's doing a solo show now. Now's the time to see him because he's doing a little bit of everything from his whole career. And it's just, when I leave his show, my jaw hurts because I got to like put it back up. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, man. I hope he comes down to Florida or something, man. I'd love to see him.
Oh, yeah.
So, any plans to come back down to Florida, Jaron?
So the Rise of the Decades thing's happening between New Year's and January 11th. It's like 2 weeks of shows, so we'll be early January, pretty much 9 shows somewhere in that general vicinity.
Oh, awesome, man.
I might get down there sooner than that. Now that I got a lot of time off, my new thing is going to see shows and catching up on all these bands that I haven't been able to see over the years because I've been out touring the whole time too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Shanker next week or in a couple of weeks.
He just played here on Sunday and I missed him, man.
I never miss. I try to never miss the greats if I can help it.
Yeah, I've seen Shanker before. I mean, he's awesome. But I really wanted to go because he was doing all UFO, man.
Yeah.
I just
Oh
couldn't
wow,
do it.
really?
These guys
Yeah,
find new ways to, just tour and do unique things that the fans just don't want to stop going. I mean, how great is that? Go out and do all UFO. That's a whole career he had before he was Michael Schenker by himself. So
Absolutely.
it's too cool for a fan, man. I just get stoked on shit like that.
Yeah.
And especially playing his era of UFO songs,
Yeah.
which is, kind of deep tracks to begin with.
Yeah, if you're doing a whole tour based on kind of like the Maiden thing you're talking about, they're only doing the early stuff. It's just like when you can kind of focus in on periods like that, it's really great for the fans because you have fans that are diehards for certain eras. And if you're a diehard UFO Schenker, I mean, what better thing than a whole show of his stuff? You know what you're gonna get. And so when bands do that, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I pulled these two out recently, Phenomenon
Beautiful.
and Obsession.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was like, I gotta go to the show, man. I just couldn't go, and it fucking pissed me off. But I have seen them, so I'm not saying like I do like you said, man. I try to see all the greats because they're not gonna be around forever. I always tell my friends that too. Don't fucking wait, man. Go see them because you never know when they're gonna not be around anymore. So I'm going to see Nine Inch Nails with my family tomorrow. I'm taking my wife and daughter to that. They're playing right here in Tampa, so it's gonna be a cool show. And
oh wow, yeah, that is pretty cool. I've heard the show right now. It's just great.
I mean, all the times I've seen Nine Inch Nails, it's always been. I mean, Trent comes up with these stage shows that are just incredible. I can't believe he always tops himself, man. So I'm kind of curious to see how this next stage show, what he's going to be doing and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Any shows you got coming up you're seeing, Jaron, or?
Yeah, just Schenker, Priest, potentially Slayer.
Where's Schenker playing at up there?
He's playing at Keswick in right outside of Philly, but I think he's doing Newton Theater in Jersey. And there's a few dates I was trying to decide which one I could catch without having to screw up my schedule too much. But me and my dad are diehard Schenker and Guitar Hero in general fans. So we try to never miss the good stuff.
Yeah. And you're going to see Priest?
Yeah, I'm going. I think
is that with Alice Cooper?
It is, yeah.
Oh, dude.
And Corrosion
of Conformity, right?
Yeah, I've seen Priest many times. I've never seen Cooper, I don't think, and I don't think I've seen Corrosion. So regardless, I'm stoked. No matter what. I'm going down with my dad as well. So getting some family time in, seeing the good stuff, and just trying to catch everything as it comes. There's just so many tours and so many shows all the time. It's almost hard to even know where to. It's like it used to be like you hope for a magazine to come out to tell you the dates of a tour or local listings. Now the internet, you can get all the answers. However, it's just so much stuff. It's
overwhelming.
Working against you. It's just like I didn't know Death Angel was here yesterday, and it's just like you're just flooded with all this stuff that. It's almost discouraging in a way. I got to literally write stuff down on a piece of paper to keep track of it because I'm like, I don't even know where to look anymore.
Yeah, no, it's overwhelming, dude. It's like you can literally go to a show like almost every night, somewhere. So, my friends were like, when I moved from New Jersey down to here, they're like, "What about shows, man? Are you gonna miss?" I'm like, "Miss shows, dude. There's plenty of shows down here, man."
Oh yeah,
I'm between Tampa and Orlando, dude. I mean, there's no shortage of
the entertainment capital.
Oh my god, dude! Like there's tons of venues, man. Yeah. What venues are you? Do you know the venues you're gonna play down here with George or no?
I think Janice Live is the one kind of.
That's great. You ever been there?
Yeah, I played there in December. And I've seen tons of photos and video of it, leading up to that. But I was there on the Steel Panther tour with this band called Stone Horses in December, and I loved playing there. So I'm excited to go back there with George. And
I just saw Jerry Cantrell there.
Nice.
Yeah, really. Yeah, he was excellent as usual, man.
Yeah, so I forget where else, but it's a lot of the usual places that we hit down there on that tour, and maybe some new ones as well.
Cool. Yeah, keep me informed, man. I'll definitely hit up a show and catch up with you, man.
Oh, of course, man. Of course.
Yeah. So who's in the new lineup of Lynch Mob again? One more time.
Andrew Freeman and Brian Tishy, myself, and George.
Okay. Great lineup right there, man.
Yeah.
It's a fun one for sure. They're all fun. Everybody's got their own great things, and that's the cool thing about the band is every guy that comes in offers their own unique spin, and everybody's great. So a lot of firepower, a lot of excitement, and guys just want to get up there and kick ass, and that's my favorite thing.
Yeah, especially with this lineup that they're already accomplished.
Yeah, you got these guys that have been doing it a long time. You know what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's
that's
like
awesome,
having
man.
4 big stars on the stage right in front of you. So that's cool.
So check that out. Check out Heaven's Edge. I guess next year you're gonna have something with them. Of course, Lynch Mob is back. Actually, it's funny because I was listening to Eddie Trunk last week, and he was mentioning how he talked to you. And he's like, "Oh, Lynch Mob is back," and you were saying to him, "Oh, Lynch Mob is back."
Yeah, that's a whole thing, man. That's a whole saga.
I was laughing too, man. I was like, "These guys, man, they're not going to retire, man. They're going to just keep going, man." But it's fine by me. I love Lynch Mob, so I love George. I love you're awesome, man. Thank you for being a great friend and always and working hard, man. You're one of the hardest working guys I know, man.
I appreciate that, man. It's always nice to show up in a town, and see a friend and a familiar face and to hang and get to chop it up, even just like this. I find the people I talk to the most are my fan friends that I've met at shows that have become, some of my best friends over the years, because it's just like you grow up with kids your whole life, but everybody goes and gets a real job or this that has a family. It's like I'm still a kid at heart. I don't have any real responsibilities other than my gig job. So it's like I find it hard to relate. So I find myself always on the phone talking to guys and across the country, just shooting the shit music and popping it up like this. So I'm really grateful that you guys not only want to chat, but that I actually have some kind of history, and it's good to keep rekindling that every time we come in each other's areas.
Yeah, man. I met you at the Tantric show in Rahway, New Jersey, man.
Oh, wow, really?
Where I lived, when they toured with when they did the Puddle of Mud thing. That was great, man. It was. I mean, I noticed you wearing a Lynch Mob shirt, and that just immediately drew me to you. And I'm like, I got to talk to this guy, man.
Man.
And Jaron was such a friendly dude, and he, hung out with me for a few minutes. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm actually gonna go run to Starland Ballroom to go see Dawkins." So I was like, "That's awesome, man." Because they were on early enough where they can kind of jet out and get to Starland and catch that show. So, man, that's awesome that he could do that, man. So,
I'm down here in Houston, Texas. Do y'all ever come to Texas often? Because I never hear you talk.
We did Scout Bar in Houston last year.
Okay.
But I'm sure we'll be back down there. We're actually talking about bringing the Rise of the Decade show down to Texas. So,
great.
We did Butte, Texas a couple of years ago, and it was very well received. And so I think they're now interested in doing a few different area shows down there. And I'm sure Houston will be within range.
Great.
Cool.
I'll let you know for sure.
Yeah, please do that.
And like you said, you're doing Monster Rock Cruise, right?
Heaven's Edge is on Monster Rock this year.
Okay.
And I'm sure the next summer's festivals will probably see. I mean, I don't know. I'd love to be a part of any of them, honestly, no matter how big or small. I'm hopeful that, one of the bands that I play with, whatever band that is or whichever level, is involved with any of those. But I've been very fortunate to be on most of the cruises, year after year, because between George and Heaven's Edge, kind of flip-flop. So I'm trying to keep up that consistency and, be out there enjoying all the music with everybody else.
Cool. Andy, any last things, man? We'll let Jaron go.
No. I'm just thanks a lot for joining us again, Jaron. And it's always great to talk music with you. You're a musician and a fan, so it's great to talk to you, man. Because it's great to hear tales from the road and what goes on in the background of music, and then also hear your fandom as well. So that's really cool to talk to you.
Well, I appreciate that. It's actually good because, sometimes I get in my own head. I'm like, am I just like, I'm a diehard fan at heart. But then I talk to guys like you guys and see all the records. And I'm like, you know what? That just makes me feel good because I know I remember what it's all about, and just being a fan first of the music and connecting and bonding over that. That's the most important thing.
And everybody out there, man, like go catch Jaron with George and, Heaven's Edge when they come around your area. Jaron he's like a force of energy on stage, man. I love your stage presence, bro.
It's all the Mountain Dew.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Keep it up, brother. And
Thank you guys. I appreciate you having me, and hopefully we'll do this again. And sorry we missed Anthony. What the hell?
yeah. Yeah, well, he's gonna come on, man. I told him, listen, man, we're flexible. Whenever day you want to come on, we can move around your schedule, whatever. So he's all good. I felt bad, I had to kind of cancel on him, man. But he was nice. He was nice. He's a nice guy, man. So
yeah, hopefully he'll be part of the shows in January for the Rise of Decades, and we'll do it all again.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right, man. Well, Jaron, thanks a lot for coming on. Always a pleasure, brother. And I'll see you out on the road, man, when you guys come down here.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And everybody, man, check out Blackspinner Circle. Be Cool to Be podcast on YouTube. And we'll check you out next week, man, next Tuesday. Yeah. One more thing, Andy, what do you got going on? What's up for next week? Got any
Yeah. Next week, I'm going to revisit a show we weren't able to do with the ranking of the tracks off of Damn the Torpedoes by Tom Petty.
That's right.
Heartbreakers.
Tom Petty, yeah. We're going to be doing Damn the Torpedoes, ranking the tracks on Damn Torpedoes. So check us out next Tuesday at 8 o'clock on Blackspinner Circle. And until next time, cheers, everybody. Thank you again, Jaron. I appreciate it.
Yeah, guys. See ya.
Cheers. Hey, that was awesome, man.
Hold on.
We're still live.